Sorry about having to cut the stream there for a second, but should be able to get back into it now. All right. All right, so back to this hinge design. And go ahead and put symmetry on the hinge here. All right, so it should work like this. All right, perfect. Oh yeah, I still have that extended. Should be all right for now. All right. All right, that should be pretty good. So now if I flip this back, nice. Oh, no, wrong thing. Oh, get a little bit of a lag spike there. Oh, I didn't check to see how long it was. 6. Oh wait, went one block too high. So let's go this on the bottom. Or wait, we could just use a smaller block grid. Oh, we are on the smallest block grid. I'm already on the smallest one. On the bottom, I think I want to go inverse instead. Alright. Let's see, how long are we so far? 4. Okay. Maybe we should inverse it on this one. No. Let's go a little smaller. Five, maybe. Okay, so 5. You don't need to have that lip on there. I like that though. Three. Okay. That should be almost good. Let's go ahead and fully taper this in here. Alright, we'll go ahead and bring this back. Alright. Start mounting a little bit of body pieces on here. Let me see what this angle looks like. Oh, I already made a mistake. That's why I should have that tilted out a little bit. Nope. Luckily, I caught myself right at the start of the mistake. So I was able to immediately fix that. I immediately had the thought cross my mind. I was just like, what if I'm gonna mess it up or put it attached to the main body? Alright, I will bring it back down. Okay. Get rid of the mounting block there. I can actually just do this. Oh. This might be the longer one right here. Let's go ahead and maybe stretch that all the way back. Yeah, I believe this is how we'd want it. There we go. So I believe that's a pretty nice graduating angle. So I could go ahead and start bringing this outward. Oh. Probably should have kept that middle one. good intake spot right here. I'm gonna have... Ooh, I want to do it like this, actually. Oops. So what I might do, something like this. That would work. Take the fan. Oh, I actually didn't make enough room to mount the fan in here. I would not be able to do that idea. So, probably just the glow block wall. Do it around the middle point. Alright, let me close off the back of these. Wait a second. So this would have to be normal wall. So wait, actually, now that I think about it, that wouldn't be able to match this way. So yeah, something like this would work. Alright. And I would guess this would just be an inverse OSO. Yeah, that does indeed work. Oh, I was gonna say the one thing that I could do to make it cooler is bring that inverse up a little bit, but it looks like I don't have enough room to do so. Alright. Go ahead and get some vents in here. Just go ahead and put it on the first line. We'll get some thick vents. Actually, if I had the thinner vents, now I think about it, I could get more in there. So let's go for the thinner ones. Oh, joke's on me, those are the thinner ones. Appreciate it. Thank you, thank you. I'm pretty happy with the first steps that we got here. Let me get... There we go. And then get this line. I think what I might do is where we go. We'd only be left with one left then. So we'll just do it like that, yeah. Just do it like that, and that looks good actually. Alright. Is there anything else I'd want to put in here? A hollow wedge actually would fit nicely in there. I'm gonna just put this one going this way. Let me see. Oh no, that wouldn't look right. Can I continue this on? Oh, that works. Alright. So we'll do that. Have that little hollow wedge frame in. I was thinking about putting the little pyramid bit right in there. Just get that little thing filled in. I don't know. Maybe we won't. Nah. We'll leave that open. Yeah, I like that as is. So, like I say before, we have... Oh yeah, it won't be able to go because I need to actuate this. There we go. So we had that piston working together, and what this is going to do, I should actually just go ahead and bring this to a 90 and we can bring the piston out more. That will go all the way to a 90, and this is going to go 0.3. Then we have, maybe I can't go 90, full 90 would block that. So how about 65? Oh. Our logic drawer is still getting blocked. That's a little bit of an issue. Oh yeah, I can just make the piston much longer. Go 1 on the piston. Honestly, I probably could have done this design with just the piston, not even having the hinge, but I kind of liked having it like this. Ah! Alright, now the logic drawer can pretty much fully come out. There we go. So is that 1.0? Yeah. We're gonna make that not pop out so fast like it's a freaking Jack-in-the-Box. Because that's pretty insane. That's not very realistic, is it? Same with the hinge. We'll make the hinge much slower. I need to get the logic set up for those, so maybe they will be the very first logic in the system. We'll We'll keep that switch there. That's like an auxiliary switch for the piston. It's time for some logic. Okay, so I need a sequencer gate. I need the logic gate, and that's really all I need for now. We don't need any event gate or anything. Place that. Let's get rid of the vent for now. All right. So the logic block can be right there. Turn that to an extra and then we're going to, we just need, honestly, we could, no, we need 2 sequencer gates. Actually, no, never mind. We can simply connect that to the button that actuates the piston. Can't words. And then simply get this onto the hinge. There we go. And it starts out at 0, which is 90, and then it goes to 90, which is 0. It's backwards on a sequencer. All right. Other than that, I just need a button, some kind of switch to be able to open up the whole logic system from outside. And the most logical spot would probably be literally right on the bottom of the ship. I mean, I'd say just right here. We can have a couple actuation points. I could always have one on the top too, but there's not really any mounting points on the top. That's actually the only other flat space is on the nose. And as you can see, that's too tight to fit. All right, so now we have a logic toggle. For now, we're just going to use that one on the bottom of the ship. The belly toggle will start our logic gate. And let's make sure our drawer is closed. We can just actuate our drawers from this little button right here, so there's absolutely no need to do anything there. And I could actually put a useful, ooh, perfect place for battery cells, because I was going to say, we have these little holes here. What do we want to do with these little holes? This will be where battery cells can live. We want to have a use for every little space. And in reality, ooh, just had an idea, guys. We could go and, it looks like I have the rounded things twice, so that works out. We could go and take the inner shell here. See, look at this. We have this open space inside the nose. We put more battery cell bases in here. Oh, they won't fit. Plan put into ashes. We could do small cells, but small cells are the only thing that's going to fit. We can put big cells here, though. Just one. A singular big cell. See, the battery would be sticking out if it's way out here, though. So I guess we could just put some small cells in here. Give us a little bit more battery capacity. How about... yeah, we just do one here, one there, and then get a mounting tile for it. No, actually, I don't probably want to block those. Yeah, let's do this. And is there any more cell bases that I might need? Yeah. So we can go 3 right there. Now, I don't know if the cell goes out the end. No, it's an inverse block. So since it's an inverse block, it would destroy the look of the body if I did. So we're gonna have to do these one at a time. Oh, that fits perfectly. Wow. Sometimes you... oh, I just accidentally spawned a power cell into the world. Oops. That's a big power cell. That one can actually go inside the base that's inside of these, because I know, yeah, the big cells can fit in here. Oh, wait, can they? Oh, wait, they can if I just put it tucked inside there a little bit, and then you can just have the battery access point. Yeah, that'll work. So let's just get a little bit of a back wall, but kind of give it some breathing room so the base can go in. Just like so. And put a little floor on it to make it aesthetic. There we go. We don't really need a roof on it. And then just simply pop the base. Oh no, I didn't put far enough back. Rip. Oh wait, it might have, oh no, I deleted the wrong thing. It might have been that bottom block. No, I actually might not have enough room overall. Yeah, that's just too wide. The ship is so small that I actually can't I can't fit the big cell bases in. Only tiny cells can come in. But I mean, we can do that little block wall with more tiny cells. The whole goal of this craft is making it very, very compact, so that's part of the reason why jamming things in can prove a little difficult. Oh wait, that needs to be an inverse. Right there. Yeah, see, no, I can't get rid of any of the nose ones because they're those inside inverse one thing, like the inner edge. That's pretty much the only reason. So let me get some small cell bases. Let me see how many would actually fit in here. It looks like just one a piece. Everybody gets one. All right. That works out. I have exactly 2 slots available here. Boom. And boom. And I'd say we should probably skin around these. Try to keep our heat down by putting a little bit of extra hole blocks in here. Kind of stuff in the empty spaces. And that will help us a lot, our heat, making this a little bit thicker. Of course, it's going to add more weight to the vessel. But are we really too worried about that? Oh yeah, I need cells for everything else. More mini cells. I do really wish if in creative you could just keep infinitely making the cells without having to get more. They can't stack. All right. So that should be good. Got a little bit of power cells. Now, could I jam any solar panels in here? No. Don't think I could. Unless I did it possibly. Ooh, wait a second. That top line. Yes, solar panels work in this game even if you're blocked by the body. And I take advantage of that in every way I can. There we go. A little bit of extra solar panel in there. Looks a little weird though. If I could only center it off, that'd be nice, wouldn't it? Nah, it's fine. No solar panels in there. What about our little side bits where this battery is? No, they wouldn't work in there either. Yeah. We won't do that. That should be okay. And then of course our interaction point for our spaceship computer is right here. And then the interaction point for the hovercraft is right there. Because this is both. Yeah, you can have your power on the child entities. As long as it is on this craft, it will be good. It just has to be on this specific thing that you did on a starter block starting for this. As long as it's like this blueprint, which we haven't even named it yet, then you know that it'll always work. All the systems will work. The only thing you can't really do is you need to have like pipes for fuel. Other than, I think the only thing that can transfer fluids when it comes to the mechanisms, I think, is the join arm. The join arm has a point. I think it can get pipes and like liquids can go through it. That's about the only thing I know of. All right, let's test the button. That is not what we want. Yes, that is definitely not what we want. So I need to make this a little bit quicker. We might actually have to do the rotor for this because it's two different things and I need them to have different timing. Oh, it's still backwards. Here, let me get that piston out, get this straightened out. We'll just do that. Oh wait, it's got to reset the cycle. So let me do it straight. I think we are going to have to do the rotor and just make this a... Ah, I got the battery. Make this an Abigate. Just a simple one. Because it needs a timer in between. Oh, wait, I could just activate a timer. Duh. Simple way. So what you can do for this situation, when you have this where they need to be differently timed. I think we should still do the rotor because I want the timing to reverse itself on the way back. And the easiest way to do that is just using the rotor gate. So we use the tiny rotor. Once again, that's from Pro Peach on the workshop if you want to get those prefabs for the tiny 1/8 mechanisms. Very useful, but they aren't cheaty because they have their own weight limits on them. So, I mean, they're much less weight limit than anything else. But they're very good for mechanisms. For example, what I'm about to do. So we have those two, excuse me, two open spots now. We actually don't need the sequencer because we just run the event gate straight in. So instead of our mechanisms being connected to the logic gate is now going to be starting the rotor instead. And then we would go with an event gate for each thing that is going to activate. And then you're going to take the rotor, put the rotor into each of these. And then for each thing you want to activate, you simply put that in. And we already know our values. So we want the piston to go first. So you'd want to make it where the value threshold for this hinge is later than the piston. So we'll put this at like 125 degrees. So how this works is when the rotor spins around after the logic gate's activated, when it spins around and makes it to 130 degrees, it will activate the hinge. But at 0 degrees, since I didn't set anything here, it will activate the piston, so it'll immediately pop out. So it will, and then you can just change the speed of the rotor to change the speed of the whole setup. And that's honestly the easiest way you can do a multi-stage type design. Just use the little rotor. So now let me reset this, and it should play it in reverse because I'm resetting it. Oh, it reset it a little weird. So let me go and bring it back. There we go. Now do it. Ta-da! And now it should play, it plays the animation in reverse when you hit the button because it spins the rotor back. So that means now the hinge will close first and then it comes back. So what I could do, okay, I think we're just going to connect directly to, oh wait, is the piston actually hooked up? Oh, let's not hook up the piston to that. Let's hook up the piston directly to the event gate. Or no, actually we need a sequencer. So for this situation, you do need a sequencer for the piston because the toggle button is going to stick and it won't deactivate correctly. So you're going to want to do another sequencer. And then that sequencer is going to be, oh, yeah, that sequencer is connected to the piston. There we go. And now it should work good. Let's go ahead and bring this back. Hold. Well, I guess we can just reset the cycle. It's still not working. Let's set it to 15. Oh, it's because I'm not changing the on state. Ha 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 ha. Think, space. Think. There we go. Well, you just gotta make sure it actually closes. Please close. Yay! Success! Alright. So, got that all sorted. Our logic box is actually good, but we honestly, we need this open right now, so I might as well just leave it open. Wah, wah. That's cool. We honestly don't even need to fold it this much. But I think maybe the 90 is okay. Now, if I added a third step, I could bring it back. Like, but the problem is I don't want to, you know, block our logic box. See what I mean? If I brought this anymore, see the logic drawer is stopping on that. It's like a stopping point for the logic drawer. And then there's the bottom drawer. There's two drawers in case we need to expand more. So I take it back about having to have the cockpit out right now, because the only way I'm going to be able to figure out the shape for this top half is if I can see it all. I got to see my finalized shape. So we could keep adding, because the cool thing into this, I can't block this spot right here. There's like one specific spot I can't block, and that's that. But I can still put things right here. And if I simply, like, this is a really easy fix actually for this solution here. So all I need to do is simply mount the wedge that would be connected to this to the actual body. So when the system sends it out, this will go, but the others won't. See? And then it hides the hinge. There we go. So there's that little situation. And then just everything else is gotta make sure it's connected to the actual body, because that would be a little bit of a boo-boo if I connect all of this to that. We gotta make sure we are matching our lines. Right there. Always match your lines, folks. Always match your lines, or else you're gonna have some bad times later on. Oh god. There we go. So we have a nice big wide empty space here, and you know, this is prime real estate for some solar panels. They'd be sideways mounted though, but I need a lot of power generation. I could put smaller reactors in here for weight balancing purposes. I'm liking the body shape so far. Might give a little bit more aspect to those little front fin wings. We'll see. Alright. We almost have our cockpit space fully defined. I really wanted to have this as a like a two-person vessel, so you could have a co-pilot with you. I could make this just a one layer. Alright. Cockpit would probably be going in right here. So I want to keep this a pretty tight cockpit because the biggest thing about this vessel, I didn't want side-by-side seats. I really want front to back, kind of like a attack helicopter would have, or a fighter jet. So we're gonna have a pretty tight cockpit here, because that's one of the important elements on this design I did want. So this is gonna get pretty close to the body here. There's not gonna be a whole lot of wiggle room, but the tighter the cockpit, it'll actually probably look better. So we're gonna taper it down right there. Alright, so get this, put it across to get a mounting point, and I need my good old window tile. We won't replace the glass block, but I will get rid of the arch. Now we'll try it with the window tile, and we'll try it with the actual just window arch, and we'll see what I like better. Oh, can't bring it this far. Oh no, I went one step too far. Can do that though. Nice. Let's go with a reverse inverse, because I want to meet in the middle with a twin block there. Oh, that's glass blocks. We don't want those. Probably just do wedges. Oh, that looks weird. How about square pyramids? That's cool. Alright. So we want to drop in this cockpit just a tiny bit. Oh god, our solar panels. Idea again. Half tile, I love you. Easy solution. Same with you guys. Oh, wait a second. I can actually make it where I can... Oh. Mr. Krabs, I have another idea. What if I did this? Added some little micro hinges where you can pop them open and you can actually see the spaceship computers. Or access them from like the pilot seat. Oh. Would be very good. So let's maybe pop. Ooh, we have a little spot right there actually. This in right here. All I need is a little tiny interaction point. Okay, so let me get some blocks in here. We're trying to use all the space as good as I can here. And one important thing is, will the seat fit? Because if I made this undersized, we will need to go back. Oh man, it only fits one person. It needs to go up by one. It's a little bit tight. It needs to get sized up just a tiny bit. Good thing I did that height check. Alright, let's nuke her out a little bit. We'll nuke this one out too. Start right here again. And then we want to bring this up more. Was it 3 before? I have a feeling it was 3 before. I can reprofile a little bit of this more if I need to. Oh. Okay. All right. Oh, I put a glass block there. Ah, yes, the see-through computer bits. Here, now let's see what this windshield looks like. We'd want to do... I still like the sharper windshield. So we could just bring it back a little bit. See, this is the biggest problem is I won't be able to access the computer then. It's okay, I don't need the computer idea. It did sound cool on paper, but I don't need to necessarily make the body super tall just to accommodate it. We will maybe make this 3. 3 is the farthest I can accept. And we'll see how this looks. Because this is still 1 block higher. I believe 2 was what we originally had. So that is still 1 block higher. Now what I could do... Oh, gotta make sure this is connected to the body. And just... possibly... So what could I do? Now I could give myself a little bit more wiggle room by getting rid of that, but I don't think I want to. Now, there is one small seat solution that would be perfect for this scenario, and that's the saddle seat, the motorcycle seat. See, that's going to be a very tight window to see through. Not exactly the greatest. No. Yeah, stick with the 2s. Let's see how this would look. And then maybe in the middle here we can keep that. Let me see just how this looks in comparison to what we did before. Oh, I had the line. Oh, I brought it too far back. Oops. Come on. It's not wanting to move. There it goes. Oh, wait. I made that too tall. Oops. There we go. See, I just wanted a more sleek windshield. I did not want to go crazy with the just tiny bit of windshield and then wild amount of body. Let me see if with an arch I could make the headspace work. Why won't you stretch the right point? Ah, right here. See, that's still... This bit of the windshield just won't work. It has to be just normal glass arch. Because visibility near nothing. There we go. That's more like it. I like having a wraparound view. Now the thing is, will I be able to get the seat to fit? Probably need the pole. Get rid of the window tile for now. Now another option is using a straight up canopy here. See, look, it's just too high up. Now one option, and this is probably the option I probably should have took in the first place, is having the actual cockpit start right here, just dropped inside, and then you look through the windshield. And honestly, that would be the best. That is probably what I should have been doing from the start. So let's find the middle of the body. We just got to get this lined up where we can see well out of here. So let's get a tiny pole to put this on. Because the pole, that pole is the elevation that's necessary for this to be really possible. Or else you're going to end up having your legs go right through the floor when you put your seat down. Actually, I am going to keep the seat there. And then what I can do is simply have the floor drop out. That's enough leg room. Okay. Still not low enough though. So let's go like one block lower. Try that. I think it's too close. A little bit lower. Let's try that. See how this goes for us. That should be enough space. Perfect. All right. Now what I could do, make this all just solid glass. Just make a solid pane windshield. Keep with the arches, because the glass arches just give the best appearance. Because they have the hollowed out sides on them. So that gives a better appearance. And then to get the wedge in, I would need to go ahead and get a block line. Actually, put a reverse wedge pretty easily here. Boom. There we go. Nice clean windshield. So what we'd have to end up doing, all this is gonna have to come in. But let's make this kind of like, I want to make it stylized a little bit up here. We'll go to right here, go to that middle point, then bring it back. Oh, wait. Uh-oh. Oh. Man. How do you do it, Space? I got lucky, guys. I wasn't thinking. I thought I put the glass all mounted to this or something on accident. Putting this wedge here is probably the lifesaver for me. Oh, thank God I didn't mess it up. And then this one would be a little reverse. We'll probably just make that ordinary wedge. Oh no, that wouldn't be right. Let's nuke that out. That's two things that won't work. What we can do is switch this to a wedge instead to wrap around the cockpit some more. Whoa. So yeah, that's already good. We're just gonna wrap it. Probably, honestly, wrap it all the way back because I need to get the other seat in too for the passenger. We're gonna push this. See how far. Wait, that one doesn't line up. I need to pull it. Bop it. Pull it. Twist it. There we go. Wait, is that right? Oh, I should probably do the upside up version of it. Having it upside down is kind of weird. It's throwing it off. So we'll do this. Alright, upside up version. Because it has two different angles depending on if you have it upside up or upside down. And that's just to accommodate the inside angle. But if you have it upside down, mounting to the pyramid, it ends up looking weird. Like, so the wedge, this would be okay. Like, if I'm just mounting to a wedge, it's totally fine. It's when I'm mounting to all the pyramid blocks. Oh, I don't even have pyramid blocks on here, do I? Oh, those are just wedges, I mean. So this would need to be a... So I was actually probably going to have the hatch pretty close to here. So what I could initially do, have a square pyramid line. Oh, oops. I still had the glass block. I'll just do a square pyramid line here. Oh, too far. Trying to keep it still lined up. There we go. Yeah, that'll be good. But we do need a wedge right here. That is becoming pretty much necessary. That's the only way that angle will terminate correctly. Okay, so I gotta rework this whole side. And this just reworks into a wedge all the way until you get to this point where the wedge would end. There. And let me see if I can jam the second seat in. Oh, that looks way better. Way better. Okay. Now I could still almost interact with this. I spy a mounting block I don't want. Any more in there? Nah. Let me see. Where are my legs sitting? Okay, I could go up probably one block. Remember, I want to be able to fit two people in here. And this is probably where the hatch door is going to be right here. This pyramid's going to get connected to a little hinge and just pops up. Lets me in. Simple as that. Pretty easy design. So if I give my legs just like one block of space, because this is the logic box, I can't dig into that. So we can't go any forward. Alright, so that's good. And then the back seat, I need a little bit more room. This guy's gonna have like 1 foot of leg room, maybe less. Literally just giving him 1 block of leg room. Should be all right. Yeah, you actually fit in there pretty good. I need that little extra block of leg room in the front because we got to have the instruments in here. Make sure this is connected to the body. We can just stack half blocks, half tile, but mount it once again to the body. And then honestly, I could just wall out this with half tile. We'll just have a little bit of a buffer wall right there. All right. So we'll move it right there. We can have a different colored wall if wanted. Blast out these. We now have a mounting spot for the chair. I might actually just keep it just like that. Can I get it even closer? Oh, it's a tight fit. Man, poor guy in the back. I hate my life. It's got to be a tight squeeze, though, if you want to take a ride in this. Oh, wait, let's just change the type of seat, guys. Because remember, this isn't the only type of seat. Ooh. And the other seats might be better for this. Like, the simple seat might actually be better for this. Because we can skin it more. We can, like, put stuff that we want on it. Ah, my kneecaps! Nah, we ain't going on that car ride. How about right there? Nah, we're good. That should be alright. Close enough. We need to get the floor back in before I delete this one. My knees! I can't feel my knees! Tell you what, buddy, I'll give you like a tiny, tiny bit of space right here. There you go. I can suffer with you. Oh, that's okay. Yippee! I feel like I'm too short. Oh, this seat actually sits lower than the pilot seat. Oh, I was gonna say, because it seems like I feel like I'm sitting lower, which I indeed am. So I'll tell you what, we'll add this right here. Mount that. We might need 2 of them, honestly. Now let me see. Because this seat does seem, yeah. This seat is indeed lower than the normal pilot seat, which is something honestly good to know. So you'll actually sit much lower. We could add 3 on there, and then that would still be lower than what it originally was. So you know what this is cool for? This lets me have this seat in here without me having to dig these in. Because now what I can do, still have this sitting on the edge, but now our legs have clearance. Man, the simple seat is so much better than the pilot seat, guys. Because see, look, with the pilot seat, I'm not only sitting way higher because you have that thing right there, but with the pilot seat, I would have to make a different mechanism for my feet. Okay, so that needs to come back at least 1. How much leg room do I got? Oh man, that's pretty much perfect. So I could dig out the back. So what I could do, make it like this size instead. Oh, if I can fit it. There we go. Because I can always... Alright, so let me see. Our feet are still going through, but you can't see yourself in first person. So you know what? We're going to keep that one. And let's see how your legs are in this one. Because you're not going to be able to even see yourself inside there. And even then, you wouldn't be able to see your buddy's feet when you're in there either. The only time you would ever notice that is if you were like going like no clip camera. Oh, I have the seat off shifted. Good thing I looked. Go ahead and get its mounting point stack. Oh, already messing it up. Yeah, that's right. And then this one. All right. And then this one we want actually properly on the edge. Yeah, that's pretty much perfect. Okay, we'll take that. I did end up making these too wide though. How about making it to right here? And then this last one, we could just jam in this way. There we go. That's nice. All right, so you're only going to get to right here. If it'll actually stretch. Hello? What is it doing? Oh, wrong block. Yikes. Okay. Think, space, think. Alright. That should be good. Now, right here, probably going to be... What? Inverse. Yes. Big fan. I haven't named this thing yet. I mean, it's probably going to be, once again, a variant of the Typhoon. Actually, no, I don't know if I should name it Typhoon, because I think the Typhoon might have become a cursed name. I've named the last 13 iterations of this hover racer the Typhoon, and every single one has been a failure. So maybe we should avoid the Typhoon name. Go ahead and just put a normal block line right here. This is good though. This is good. This is the kind of idea I wanted. It's thin. It looks aerodynamic. It's the right direction. It's small. It's compact. It's hopefully lightweight. I gotta check its weight. Gotta weight check, guys. Alright. It's time for a quick weight check. Buddy, how fat are you getting? I know it's all right. You're only 5 tons. This is a very light vessel. My ultimate goal is to keep this thing probably under 20 tons. All right. So right there, and then the body is going to start tapering out again. I'm going to get some design bits on here. The main wing is probably going to be mounted right on there. Hey, recently started playing this game, and so far I love it. I can't wait to see how the progresses. It's like the perfect blend of Space Engineers and Empyrean. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. This game is really good. I never played Empyrean, but I hear a lot of the players from this game played that. So I hear a lot of stories from about Empyrean. But glad you're liking the game a lot. It is very, very fun. I'm a big fan of Evo. I've been playing this game. I think I'm sitting a little around 700 hours now. A little over 700. Let me see if I want to maybe put some mini fins right here for the end of the intakes. Just some like little design flare fins, and they don't even need to be the same length. The bottom fin could be like smaller. And we could honestly do that same kind of thing right here. So for this one, keep the longer one, but like make it fairly long, and then make the top one smaller. So go like that. And then the top one for this is just going to be a single block. If you ever need some tips on survival stuff, I got my OG tutorial guide, and then I have the new tutorial guide, my ultimate tutorial series. So if you ever get stuck on anything, you can use either of those guides as a reference point to kind of jumpstart you in the right direction. I recently, the ultimate survival guide, I actually just finished that like last week. That is pretty new system, like set of videos. We're gonna bring one. I'm actually going to change this to squared pyramids because I think it'll look better. And let's change the staggering. I want to have the smaller one on the bottom, and then the top has the bigger. We'll keep this at 1. I think we're going to do double ones right here. I just don't want to have that little extra fin there. It looks a little weird. Yeah, so that'll work. I think maybe 1's too small. Let's just do like 3. And then we can just wedge in one side. Yeah, probably should take one side and wedge it in. Maybe with just an arch instead, so it's like a hollow wedge. Oh no. Wait, maybe this will fit. No, that's gonna be too big no matter what. Will not work. So let's keep it like that for now. That might get changed. I just don't like those little bits that come off the end there. I like this intake end, but I still feel like on the back side, I would rather have it be like squared off, but just way smaller. And yeah, that's fine. I don't know what I'm gonna do with that little edge right there. I will be right back though, chat. I'm gonna take a little bit of a restroom break. I really gotta use the restroom real quick. And I'll probably just be gone like 3 minutes, 3 or 4 minutes. Try to be quick. Yeah, even all these live streams I've been running the last week or two, I've just mainly been designing things, so you might even learn a thing or two about the building process. But yeah, appreciate you coming by to check it out. I will be right back, guys. Real quick. I'll be back in just another minute, guys, and I can answer your questions if you have any. Okay, I'm back. Let's see what you guys were talking about. Uh, let's see. Oh, you have been actually watching some of the Call of the Void stuff, yeah. And then hinges. Ah, yeah. So I can show you one thing. Two things that will make all the logic, like using sequencers and stuff, way more understandable. So I actually have a simple logic setup already on this ship. And it is for the nose folding up to reveal my logic drawers where everything is stored. And it simply is a piston that comes out and then a hinge that folds upwards. And I have some batteries hidden in here, some batteries here. And I have sliding rails that you can interact with that have my logic drawer. So how this works is you get a logic gate, you place the logic gate down, configure it to the XOR, the extra and command. Then you're going to place a rotor. If you want to get these 1/8 tiny rotors, go to Pro Peach's workshop and grab his prefab. You just place the prefab in the world for the 3 different mechanisms, and you can just use the copy paste tool. With the copy paste tool, I mean, all you need to do is be on a flat surface with it, hold down left click and pull the box over, then press R to change the axis, and just get it where that bottom is showing is white, and that will let you grab and copy that and paste it somewhere. If you ever want to get rid of any of the things you copied, just hold down right click while you have the copy paste tool out. But how this works is the logic is connecting to the rotor, and it starts the rotor. And then you put an event gate down for each different thing you want to actuate. So you have your piston here and you have your hinge. So there's an event gate for the piston, an event gate for I got my giant block out right now, for the hinge. And what I've done is connected these event gates straight into the rotor, or the rotor connects into these event gates. So it reads the rotor's rotation. And you switch your first value, like this is the piston and it starts at 15 degrees. And then this one is the hinge and it starts at 125 because you want the hinge to start later after you're out of the body. And then when you go and put these into the sequencers, so this is the sequencer for the hinge, and how the sequencers work is it's actually reversed. So this is how it works, and this will make it make a lot more sense for getting exact values. 90 is 0 on a hinge, or 0 on anything you're trying to actuate. 0 is 90. 180 is minus 90. So if you were wanting to go the opposite direction on the hinge, if you want to go minus 90, you would input 180. 90 is your 0 point on a sequencer. Of course, different from what it actually is when you're using a hinge. So like if I was just to go to the hinge, I could just input minus 90, or I can put 90. I can just put it right in here and it will work. But with the sequencer tile, you have to do it by the 90 or the 0 to 180. And that makes it makes everything click a lot more. But it's simple as that. It's just timed up where when the rotor gets to a certain point, it spins. And this is infinitely expandable. Uh-oh. Let me get the logic drawer in. Oh no! I accidentally hit the rotor and it ended up actuating the whole system. Dang it. Let me bring it back out, see if we can fix this. There we go. Need to fix this because it's got screwed up when I accidentally interacted with my logic. There we go. I'm just resetting this whole system. Oh, my drawer keeps getting stuck because of this stupid half tile. We're just gonna get rid of that half tile. There. Go back in. My mechanism got broken by the drawer being out when I closed it. See, and it's really, like I said, it's infinitely expandable. So if that idea you wanted to have 10 different mechanisms all at different times on the rotor, you could easily do that. That's how you could make a multi-stage stopping elevator, anything like that. It would all be kind of possible through using that. So what I'm going to do now is start making a wing separation here. Let's go 2. Like that. And then we'll just bring that all the way back. Get that connecting in. And what I could do, be able to match this out. Change this. I could go inverse. I could change this to an inverse right here. That would be okay. And then we could go just ordinary block line here. We'll save this thing here soon. And what I could do to get this to all match up properly is just use the square pyramid here to get that edge lined. I could always do some decals or something there. All right. And then we'll define our second angle because we want to sweep the wing. So go about like that, maybe. You gotta get the bottom half too. The same concept, square, but we are only going to go one block down here. There we go. And now that actually goes in. Get a little mounting block right here. Now we can make this whatever size we want because we've made it to the end of the body. So now it's really about whatever my imagination comes with for this wing design. Kind of go from there. Let's stretch it pretty far back here. Get a mounting block in there. get this line done first. Okay. And I gotta see, because I don't want to go giga aspect on these wings, but we are gonna go fairly large. Okay. So I definitely can work with this. Yeah, I know, right? So let's see. We'll go and kind of bring that line sweeping back. But let me experiment and see what would happen if I made it extremely sharp. Okay. Let me just see what it would look like if I had a second line. Because this could make or break that look. You gotta get this lined up to that edge there. Come on. There we go. Oh wait, we gotta do this first. There we go. Nice. Okay, that works. That is a good comparison, true. Now we'll go ahead and sweep this here. And since we already had this mounting block up here, you can just take that, make sure I'm matching that front line, and make sure we match this back line too. Get both of those. That's exactly what it is. Wipeout. You're thinking of Wipeout, and that's exactly what this is inspired by, because that's what we're making is a hover racer. That is indeed. You're right on the money. Yeah, this is a hover racer. This right here. That is the title of the stream. You're right on the money. Yeah, Wipeout. That is exactly what I'm making. To a T. Okay, so we'll end the cockpit out right there and we'll wrap it back around. And so far, this is the most Wipeout looking thing I've made. Because the other designs of this did not end up looking quite like it fit. But this, we're on to something, I think. I'm just going to go ahead and we can go ahead and close this in. So let's get, where's the middle point? Oh no. Try this. Is that the middle point? Oh, I just got that by chance. We'll take it. Gets the floor kind of finished up in here. And then what I was going to do is that square pyramid you see on the roof is going to get separated off. And I'm just going to have a hinge actuator so you can just pop in the hatch that way. Oh, brought this other edge too far over. So yeah, looking at our front profile, it's nice and sleek, staying flat. And I do probably think I'm going to put some decals to maybe make it look like more intakes right there. Because you can kind of make a faked appearance. I could actually put wedges further out to the end of this. Yeah. So let's go ahead. We'll get this design finished out and then I'll separate off this. This is where the opening hatch will pop out to let you in. So we'll just go ahead and get our glass arches. Bring those all the way back to there. Right there. Oh wait, we actually have 2 points. There's 2 angle points here, so we want to make sure we're following that. So to do this, we're going to want to make sure we're first matching these 2 angles. Oh, pull it out. Oh, wait, it would actually be the tallest angle. Then pull it out. Right there. Perfect. And then this one, I think I should be able to connect it right in. Oh no, this is the upside down. So right here, temporarily I need to get a square mounting block because I need to make sure the arch is upside up. And then we can just bring it in like that. Problem solved. The mounting block is a very powerful friend. It can do a lot of things for you. We're just going to keep that open on the other spots. Get rid of that mounting block and that one. Okay. That leaves us with just this. Actually, we might need that back because I need to finish out the roof. We'll just go ahead and put the inverse ending right there because this will be the rotational point. I'm just going to get everything lined up, and then we're just going to have a pole right here that it is mounted to. That's why I put the pyramid there. So it just goes right there. And then if I get a little block to mount the hinge onto, you just probably get away with a single hinge. How would I want to do it? So actually I'd probably want to come at the pole from the back. So go like this. And I think I might have removed my pipe from the toolbar. Oh no, it's right here. And then just do it like this. And we can mount directly, the hinge can go directly on this. It might be worth making it a little smaller. The only thing I wish they had building was better rotational tools. Yeah, for sure. I can't agree with that. Oh wait, my hinge. Okay. So, I kind of want to go and put the hinge right there, because that would make sense. You want it flat with the body. But I could also put a pyramid right here. Wait, this actually would work, because I can have a squared pyramid. So I'm going to keep it how it was. And I think the squared pyramid actually might add more flair. So let's go 56. Oh, I have it upside down. I always do my directional check to make sure my 90 is facing upwards. Because a lot of times when you initially get the hinge, it starts upside down for some reason. Okay, there we go. Now, I basically am going to just simply rebuild the setup back on. But now I'm rebuilding off of the hinge instead of rebuilding off of the body. And I mean, it's a very simple design. So we know it's inverse pyramid, a wedge, and then going into the squared blocks. Simple as that. So we'll go ahead and put mirroring on the hinge. You can use symmetry on the robotics, you just got to make sure you add it because it is separate from the symmetry on your main vessel. You can kind of stack all the symmetries there. So go and bring this out. There's 3. And it doesn't really matter how long I necessarily make this. I could really do whatever design I wanted. So in reality, if I wanted to, I can now switch to the square version. But to do the proper square wedge, we would need a mounting block. But we want to make sure the mounting block is on the window piece, or else it's not going to be properly connected. We also want to start from either the middle or the end point. Now we can take this, and that I think is perfectly stretched to the end right now. We had just enough room. So now this works. Ta-da! Simple as that. Alright, so roof door on. And honestly, this is going to be pretty easy to close out. Probably just close it out with an arch so we don't block that nice little design there. But I'm going to go with a full terminating arch, probably all the way to the top here, not even matching that glass. And then we'll take this arch and match it to that arch. And right here, I can get an upside down wedge, mount it on each side, put a square in, going to right there. Oh wait, that's going to cause issues with the rotation. We want to go like so, and then we want to do a wedge. Alright, just like that, and then an inverse pyramid. Oh, right there. And that should be not blocking. Pretty good. Does kind of block right there. We probably want to change that to a wedge. Another nice solution is the round block, the rounded beveling block. Couldn't you just copy the whole thing, paste it on the hinge? That would work, but the problem is the copy paste tool is a really finagly little beast. So getting the right spot to copy paste it all would prove to be really difficult. Now what I could do, I think to make this look better, we're gonna do this. And then on this side, it's going to have its own wedge hinge, just like that. Perfect. And then we can just simply close this off. And that gives a nice little visual interest design. And then the back of this, I would say, probably put an inverse pyramid in. And now the body's actually going to start, the cockpit would end. Now let's get our dimensions. So we went, I believe that's 4 over there, because I kind of want to match up to these wing points. Yep, it's perfectly matching. Alright, wait, is it perfectly matching? Yeah, it looks like it is. Get a mounting block right here. And... oh wait, we don't need a mounting block because this would be a flat surface right here no matter how you slice it. We can actually get rid of some of our old mounting blocks. You always want to go back and get rid of those when you're done, because those little critters can get in the way. Go ahead and add that. You know what? That would make an interesting visual line for the windshield. Having this all the way up. Actually, no, probably square off. Give it a squared off end. Ah! Right, like that. Let's see what you see in here, bud. Nice. I like it. You were using canopy blocks to experiment with an opening cockpit. Oh, open cockpit design. Had to add blocks in the hinge all the way. Yeah. Yeah, having those temporary mounting blocks really can help out, especially with things like the canopy piece, because that can be a finagly little beast. I think we're gonna actually have more square pyramids right here. So what we're gonna do is just commit this line all the way back and then purposely mount a square pyramid here. Just like so. That is looking clean, guys. And then of course you have hover pods to be mounted under there, hover pods mounted on the wings, and then we gotta have the main engine design. Let me see what the overall length is so far. We're at 12 meters long. Okay, I don't want to make it too much longer. The maximum length of a wipeout vessel is, I believe, 17 meters. And their width is generally somewhere around 5 meters. We're right now at 8 meters. I could taper this wing down slightly. Take like maybe 2 blocks off the wing. So maybe like at this point right here, chop it just a little bit. So yeah, we're just gonna chop it down to this point. Just reset the wing. So instead, we would go right there. And we'll just give that just a little tip. All right. Yeah, that's good. It really doesn't take away too much. From the front, reminds you the Xbox game Defender. I don't think I ever played Defender. Sounds cool though. So what I could do, we could, so I'm thinking possibly have a purposeful line here to have another intake, like at the main wing intake. So this is actually a prime real estate for an intake right there. Now the thing is, what do I want to do right here though? Because an inverse can be a little too wacky and wild depending on how big I make it here. And I also have to make sure that I'm matching in my angles, or find a way to taper the wing down a little bit if I do this and commit too hard to it. So 12, I believe, is the magic number. Let's just see what this looks like, because I might not commit to this exact thing, what I'm doing right here. Oh, we gotta do it this way. Yeah, okay, so that works. And then we're just gonna get a flat surface on here to define the intake. I guess we do need a little mounting block there for a second. Get a inverse. Build it up like that. Kind of keep some good hollow space in here because we need to be able to get our power systems kind of going. And then we would wedge off this top. And this, oh no, I didn't go far enough back. I think I would rather adjust this because I think that is where I messed up. So we're just gonna do this. That is a 1 block, right? No, that's a 2 block. Let's go back and fix this. Looks so aggressive. Look. Yeah. This thing is gonna be all about speed. This is my ultimate goal, is to get this thing at least over 500 meters per second max speed. But I guess we'll see. I've gotten it, or I've gotten one of the vessels I created pretty close to that before. But we'll see. Alright, that'll be a good intake point. That's almost like a spoiler right there. Gives me a little bit of an idea. Looks more like a spoiler than an intake. We might have to kind of commit into that. I actually really like that. I never even thought about a spoiler, but what does any sporty racing craft have? A spoiler. Alright. Let's get this kind of ended off here. Nice little wrap around. Alright. Let's get the bottom half. And of course it doesn't need to necessarily match up to the top half. It can be whatever shape I want. Or just change, or basically matching the general angles. And that's really the extent of it. Oh, undershot it. What makes this a lot easier is because I already have these defined angles to follow. Until you do stuff like that. There we go. And that should meet all the body back in. So all this is supposed to be just flat for now. So we will go ahead and do so. And kind of go from there. I'm just going to make this totally flattened. I won't even be able to reach that last point. There's where the wing ends. Right there. Okay. And that's the main body. So we'll go ahead and take some blocks and get the main body filled in. I think right about there. There we go. And that should be good. There we go. Wing is defined. Have to experiment with engines, see how size affects speed and the depth of engine matters any. I will tell you, you can make giga powerful engines real easy. So how the engines work is with the scaling. So for example, if I had the smallest grid engine here, and then you stretched it out, like just stretch it, make it really big, and then you press R, you can make it really long. And then we have a giga engine. And now look, there's just two engines on this vessel, and it's probably going to be overpowered, like overheating. But check out our max speed now. So we have almost 2,000 kilonewtons of thrust. And right now it's showing lateral because I don't have a joystick in here yet, but it's already 132 meters per second just from two tiny engines. And these, so if I was to do this, this is weaker than if I was to do this. So if I was to do that same thing and just make it like shorter even, like, because that's the max, this is like probably 3 times stronger than that is. So you want to probably, when you're doing engines, if you want really powerful ones with a lot of oomph, but also something that will really make your heat rating go high. So yeah, those two engines have 1,200 kilonewtons of thrust. So that's one thing to note. Yeah, how engines work, or how solar panels work, is they go by the volume of the face. So look, you can make it really, really big. Now look at it. Now let's see what the thrust is. This is probably really overloading the engine. 232 meters per second with 19,000 kilonewtons of thrust. We're getting closer to a freaking space rocket at that point. You'd be like, you're approaching like the Apollo rocket. You're getting real close to those numbers. You're starting to really push it with tiny little engines. I'm gonna add one wedge line here to end this vent off, because this is going to be like, well, I don't know if these are going to be intake vents or spoilers. I haven't decided yet, but they sure look like a nice little prime candidate for a spoiler. If so, I will have to, of course, close off the back here. I don't want to put anything fully closing that off because I might use this hollow space for something. Let's go through our vessel, get rid of all of our mounting blocks, and then I will save this vessel for the first time because I haven't saved it at all during stream. The game's been bothering me about saving this whole time. I started this whole vessel from the logic drawer and basically worked my way through. So basically the very first thing I designed was that folding out nose with our logic drawers, and you just simply interact with them, and they're just kind of here. Now I'm probably going to make this piston go out further because it's still kind of in the way. So I think we're just going to make that 1.5. And the cool thing about the piston, if I change the max on here, it will automatically change the max on my sequencer. So it'll change that one to 1.5. So that's pretty cool to know. So yeah, that's a pretty nice little setup. And I can interact with my spaceship computer or my hover computer from right here, right out the folding logic door. And since that is hooked up to the system, I could have a button inside the cockpit, one just out here, wherever I'd like. Yeah, like logic, you want to hide it in a logical spot. Haha, no pun intended. Because in reality, you shouldn't have people that use your ship have to use no-clip to get to your logic to be able to, you know, access something or see what the stats are. So it's a good idea to just, you know, make it a functional system. Make it a... One cool little thing to do is make it a... like a heat fin, like for example like a cooling fin that pops out, like a little cooling tower fin, so you have something that comes out and then your logic blocks that come out make sense. Or I like to make folding wall ones too, are good. So I wanted to also put this little space right here because I wanted the life support mounted right to this back here. And one cool thing, I think Naj was talking about this in the Discord literally earlier today. You can take the life support and you can put the fan on top of the life support, and the life support will still work. Because most items, if you put most items in front of a life support, it will block the life support and then it won't be able to function. But if you put this little fan here in front of the life support, all you need is a little mounting block. Then the life support will be able to breathe and it won't leak. So look, just put that there, and now you have a cool little fan thing, and this is your life support. Naj was talking about this on the Discord literally earlier today. I think he just discovered this. So this is a brand new little trick that I just found out that works really nice. And then you can have your life support hidden. And we can of course still hook that up to logic so we can see if we're pressurized or not from inside of our seat, from a screen. Let's see, look, our life support is nice and blended in there, and it makes sense. You can have both on the same ship. Never realized was heat that thing I would need to worry about. The heat is when you add too many components to a ship, or too powerful components. When you're making something like a high-speed racing vessel, you're just going to end up having a really high heat rating due to the engines. So that's why you have to have a fair amount of hull blocks. And the one thing is, these smallest hull blocks I'm using right now will dissipate the most heat, because how the blocks work, the smaller you scale them, it makes them have higher health, and they're stronger, but they're also heavier. So if I was using bigger blocks, this would probably only be like 5 tons right now, but it would be a much bigger vessel. And that is for combat scaling. So an enemy, you could fight an enemy that's larger than you and still hold your own and stand a chance with a smaller vessel due to that, because a smaller vessel has about the same health pool as a bigger vessel. It's how they balance everything out. So that's kind of how that works, and why the smaller blocks are kind of more effective in a lot of situations. Oh, it doesn't reach all the way. Okay. So for now, I can literally just block this out. Start from the middle point, because then we know it will actually be lined up on the middle. There we go. These are going to be good spots for hover pods. I can literally just delete any of these out and put hover pods, put engines in. You can scale the hover pods by pulling them, but you want a very nice flat bottom on here for this being a hover racer. See how flat the bottom is? Hovercrafts overall, you just want a very flat surface to work with there. And what I could do is a really long sweeping. See where that pyramid ends? I could do a really long sweep here. And I probably need a little bit bigger pyramid. But then we could line that in. Oh, and it actually doesn't fully line in. You just do something like that. Because I'm either going to have to overshoot it or undershoot it. I don't have any in between there. And I think that looks really good right there. Like that. That side profile looks really nice. I was thinking about swooping the tips to maybe have some hover pods there. Like maybe swoop them down with a reverse sweep. You know how you see a lot of the Wipeout ships do that? Of course, still need to put the engine bay in here, though. Let's see how our weight balancing is. If you pull out the magnet tool, the antigrav tool, that purple ball on your vessel is the exact center point, your center of mass, and that will tell you if you have a vessel weight balanced. As you can see, our weight ball is going more towards the wings because there's more mass back here. And we want it kind of more... Well, you know what? It's going to move back. We just need to have hover pods compensating, because with a hovercraft, you need to have perfect balance. Center of mass matters more on a hovercraft than any other vehicle in this game. That's the only way it's going to function well. Let me save this real quick. This is looking wicked, though. I'm really liking this. This is probably the most in line of what I wanted this whole time. So if all the last things that I made were called Typhoon... Why not? Let's go with another natural disaster. It's the tsunami. Tsunami, Vertigo, 933. It's a bunch of bad things all put together. Wonderful. Well, 933 isn't bad, but I mean, it's Vertigo, which is literally the phobia and fear of heights, and then Tsunami, which is a natural disaster. Wonderful name. But Tsunami Vertigo is a pretty cool name also. It's when you put them together. You gotta admit, names, they're pretty wacky sometimes. I mean, this thing was called the Typhoon before. That was the old one, which is literally another word for a hurricane. Oh, yeah, you can put all three. You can have the hovercraft, the mech, you can have the spaceship. Now, the important thing about that is you need to have a different control joystick for each thing. You can't control all three at the same time. So, for example, you could get 2 joysticks. You just instead of using the yoke, use joysticks, because you only need a singular joystick to control a vehicle. So you get joysticks, and then you put them on mirroring. Of course, don't mount them like I'm doing, where they're on the sides, or else it's going to think the top of your vessel is to the right or left. But then you hook up one to the hovercraft computer and then one to the spaceship computer, and you just choose which mode you want to use. That's kind of how you have to do it. That's really the only way you can have multiple computers. But you could have a mech computer on this too. If I wanted to put mech arms on this thing and then have arm control for some reason, for example, maybe having a space shuttle control arm, you know, just like how the space shuttle had. You could do that with using a mech computer and just add that to a spacecraft. You know what I mean? So anyway, BRB real fast, And then we're going to get that cockpit door hooked up. And after that, start working on the engine bay. So BRB, like probably 2 minutes. I want to get some more coffee, even though I don't need it, I'm sure. BRB, so fast. I know I said it like 3 times. Get cooking, guys. So first things first, I should probably get the cockpit door figured out. Oh, I got my headphones on backwards. There we go. Boom. Alright. So really just need a simple sequencer for this. And for anybody that doesn't know, nice little thing. Hold down the middle click. And if you're in creative mode, it will automatically just replace whatever block you're right now currently over with the one you have. Or if it's already in your toolbar, you don't have to worry about that. So this is not going to be connected to our whole logic system here. We just simply need a sequencer. And then I need a logic gate. So that's where this is going to come into play. Hold down the middle mouse click, and then you can choose the logic gate and just place one. And then we want the XOR, the extra AND, which is going to let us hook multiple buttons to have multiple points to actuate it from. Connect it to there. Connect this to the sequencer. Or to the hinge, I mean. And then we want the hinge to start at 90, which is 0. And then we want it to open, which is 90. Backwards, basically. Then simply get a switch, and if we want to have a button instead of a switch, we could hide a switch in here. You take the switch, hook the switch up to your logic because you want to activate the system somehow, and then you simply get a button, just a little pressy button, because a lot of people probably don't know how to use the pressy button, where it's like every time you use it you got to hold it down. But you connect it to a switch hidden somewhere, and that's kind of how you use it. So then we could just put this wherever we want. How about right there? We can have on both sides. So then, since we have the logic gate, we need 2 switches to hook it up to both sides, or I need another logic gate hooked up to the switch. So if I wanted to, I could go and get a secondary logic gate, and this would let us have multiple buttons hooked up to the switch. So I go there, make sure this is on XOR. Now take the buttons, hook the buttons up to the logic gate, and then when we press the button, it will activate the switch and open the hinge. And then when we press it again, it closes it. Yeah, works really good. So it's simple as that. And now we have this row almost fully filled out. I have one more space I could put a logic block in, but that's really it. And then we could start filling up this side, and I have a whole nother drawer. So we have plenty of space for logic still. Make sure I close my drawer before I close this, or else we're gonna have a bad time. That's one important thing you gotta do. Maybe I should have on my rotor an auto closing for the drawer, so if the drawers are open, it will automatically actuate them and close them. Maybe actually having them on the rotor system would be a good idea, because that would make them automatically open too. Oh, that's a good idea. But that would make both drawers open at once, so I don't know if I want to do that. Okay, we won't do that for now. Alright, so what I want to do here, now that the cockpit hinge actually works, we need to close off the body, figure out how I want to close this off. Let's finish the wings off and then go from there. So we'll do probably sweep it back 2 maybe. This is going to be proving a little bit more challenging than just doing the top or the bottom, but following these angles should be able to achieve it pretty easily. I will need a mounting block in some places. Oh. So, honestly, I don't know if we want to end it so sharply. Let me see. Because this might be a little bit too much of a plateau for it to be going down on the back. I think I might want to stagger it more. Yeah, let's stagger it out a little bit more. This is too sharp. So what I'll do instead, we'll go 5. Brief tour of the other ships here. Yeah, sure, I got you. These are a lot of the different other prototypes of the ship that I've been mainly working on. So this is the Belafonte. I didn't make this. This is made by Dolan, probably one of the greatest creators in this whole game. If you ever look up Dolan, see Dolan ships, there's some of the most maddening ships you'll ever see on this game. So this one is not created by me, but it's very impressive. And I've been using it as a base, a sizing base for my vessel, my hovercraft. So this is a very cool ship. And it's fairly simple. Its decals are really what carries this design, and then these cool hover pods in the front. And then going on to this project, this is one of the Typhoon models, one of my experimental Typhoon models. So this one actually has the radiator cooler comes out, and this is the logic. And I also have the reactor kind of built into this. And that is just on a simple system. I believe I also have the door hooked up to something, but I'm not sure. I don't see the switch. Is it under it? No. So I can just activate it from the inside, because I do have a switch on the inside, I know. So this one just opens like this. This is a 2-person cockpit. And I did this cool little pipe. These are just pipes wrapped around for like bits for the joysticks to sit on. And then taking the arm mixed to the pipe and kind of makes a cool effect. So that is just a double stack. This has a good view, good cockpit view. All the stuff here is connected to the front. This is a very cool look. It has the pipes and all the screens and stuff, and our little altitudes thing. So one other cool thing is I actually have the screens. I'll show you how the screens kind of work. Oh no, I accidentally started controlling it. Ah, go down. All right. So you can kind of see how I have floating text here behind the joysticks. So how I did that is I take screens, and the screens are actually right here, sunken under it. And so the screens are the third option on a monitor. If you have a monitor, oh, let me see, right here. So how the screens work, it's the third option. Like I say, if you have your wedge monitor, then the flat one, and the third one is the screen. This is how you do text in the game. So you want see how that arrow is facing towards me? You don't want that. You want the arrow facing away from you when you place the screen. So you can just do that, and you can hide it under a floor or something, and then just go like, hello world, and type that out here, and then you'll see it's going to be floating in the world. You can see that box to see where it's shifted. If I bring that down, there it is. Hello. You can just change the size and all that if you want. And if you want to make it colored, you go and add this before it. You go greater than color equals whatever color you want. So we'll go green, and then close it with a less than. And there you go. Color. And you can do that for any color. You can do custom colors if you get the color code online, you know, that like number letter combo for any color of the rainbow. If you insert that where the color equals is, you can make it any color of the rainbow. You can actually, so one cool thing you can do is you can have an AI control your vessel, or not control your vessel, but basically have something that talks to you when you do some things. So if you go into your gates, and then you get the warning message gate, and you'll get the warning message gate, and you're just going to place that. And then, for example, we are going to get event gate, and this is going to be a real simple one. Just simply take the event gate, take your seat, connect the seat to the event gate, and now it's going to be reading your seat. And now it says when player is seated, on player seat or on player exit, so pulse. So when the player sits down, it will activate this message, and then it's just like the input screen. So I can go make a name. Zara is the name of my AI I like to use. Hello, Captain, and just do that. And like I say, I could make it colorful if I wanted or something. And you can choose it to be either a HUD message or a window. A window will be like a pop-up that hits your screen. A HUD message will be something you see when you get in the seat. See, look. Now at the bottom it says, hello, Captain. And it just pops up for a moment and then goes away. So you can have your ship talk to you. Like, for example, you interact, you turn on the reactor and it goes, reactor activated, or whatever. You could do whatever. You can have it on and off. I could have another warning with exit, so it'd be like, good luck on your journey, Captain, kind of like thing like that. So that's a cool little trick, and it's real easy to do using the warning message gates. A very in-depth example of this is going to be one of the most impressive vehicles, and that is going to be anything made by Nash, pretty much. There's some of the coolest stuff you'll ever see in this game. I'll just load up the pixie real quick. If it will actually load. Or I only have the gnome at the moment. Gnome! Easily one of the most impressive ships. Monitors, I mean. Yeah, sadly, I don't think you can do the updating monitors. So how Naj has done this is he has basically a volumetric sensor to automatically open the door for you when you get here. But if this is in landing mode, check this out if we change the landing mode. But see how his is called Peter, and it will tell him things. See, you can do little custom things to the screens to make things like a HUD, like a visible HUD that you can see. I like these little bars he made, and have everything named here. So let me control this, and then see how it's showing all this stuff, showing the sealed state because I have the shield turned off right now probably. And there's different, so let me transform this thing into, I think there is a way to change it. Oh yeah, the landing gear. So with the landing gear down, you can see the whole vessel transforms and it's magical. This thing is, anything Nash makes is really impressive. He's crazy, man. But check this out. There is, I think the ladder, the staircase. Look at this. So when I walk away, it'll go away. Look at that. It's a set of stairs. It's all little tiny pistons and rotors to make stairs. That is so cool. But this man is absolutely bonkers, the things he's done. For some reason, that one wall panel's gone. But all of his logic's in here, and it's in this giant box. I'll just unfold like one panel. But this is multiple layers on like all four sides. Like, I mean, this is like origami. Yeah. So, I'm not gonna unfold all of this. You get the idea of this madman. This guy is insane. Like, I mean, I'm so impressed by the things Naj has accomplished in this game. He's definitely one of the players you're going to see talk pretty often in the Discord if you're ever in the Discord. This is only a part of the logic unfolded. There's more. But it's like origami. I love how he did that, and everything folds out. Like, see, look, there's even more here. If I unfold this one, check out this. There's a whole nother layer. Oh, it goes on. It just goes on, man. When you think the logic's over, and I've studied some of this, I understand some of it, but I've just never executed something on this level. But you can really push things in this game. I can't understand most of it, but I mean, I understand it a little bit, like his warning messages. That's how I figured out how to do warning messages, is studying through his gnome systems. So he's really helped me out there. Go ahead and despawn that. Gnome's really cool. Go check out any of Naj's stuff in the workshop. The gnome or the pixie, or his newest vessel is going to be coming out soon. But that is it for this vessel. We can get rid of the little message thing. And then going on to the next vessel. This is probably one of my more crazy designs I've ever made. And I really like how this one turned out. This one has a basic logic wall. I'm going to want to levitate this one though, so you can kind of see what is going on here. So this has a crazy engine bell. This is actually one of the hover racer concepts I made. Yeah, you like this? This one has a really organic look to it. Now, the biggest problem I had with this one is the engine is way too strong, making my heat levels through the roof, and I couldn't get a heat balance. And also, I wasn't really happy with his cockpit, and I wanted to switch the cockpit. Even though the cockpit's kind of growing on me a little bit, it does fit the body. But check this out. You want to see the crazy bit? So this is what it looks like in flight mode. But if I turn this, oh yeah, this would be either sitting on the ground or like hover mode, and then basically the entire engine bell spins around, and then they come out, make a big giant X. And there is thrusters mounted to these. There's long thrusters and smaller ones. And this thing has some crazy thrust to weight ratio. It goes 328 meters per second. But my problem is the heat is really high. It's like 91%. I'm pushing it really hard. I'm almost going 400 meters per second though. So this is very good speed wise. And then I have this right here. This is a fun little experiment. This kind of reminds me of a Halo Phantom a little bit, like the base I started with. And I also have this nice little logic drawer system. Everything pops up kind of like a semi hatch. So you actuate it from inside here, and the whole cockpit comes down, or comes up, I mean. So that should close it. And as you can see, that folds down and then drops and becomes even. So that is what we have in here. Then you have the cockpit setup, just chilling in here. And kind of close the door. And this is a bubble dome cockpit. Oh yeah, you can have no, they don't have different traits. It does look different. But yeah. This is a nice little bubble cockpit. I have a nice little back window on here. This is another one of the hover racer experiments, but I found this one was too big, and that's why I started moving on to the next model. Really, I'm happy the one we're building currently, and I think it might be one of the best ones yet, because that's as close as I've possibly gotten to the size I want. So we have our hovercraft computer here, you have your spaceship computer, and then there's trapdoors to access the batteries inside the core of this thing. I really try to think this stuff out as I go, and then the main joysticks for control are actually on this, and then I have secondary joysticks on the cockpit since it moves. Yeah, the canopy blocks can have issues every once in a while. This is literally just an engine right here. Just an engine with some reactors on it and batteries. It's just that. Because this was one of those I didn't really go very far with the design before I was like, I'm going to go into the next one. And then this is the very first hover racer. This is where the idea of making a hover racer came from. Is this thing. Which I ended up really liking the stat kind of balance on it, and I liked the look of it, but I also wanted to go a little bit harder on the speed. This thing didn't have enough top speed, and I also wasn't complete with it, but overall it looks pretty cool. I might come back to, yeah, I might come back to this one. It's pretty wicked. And then the big cherry on top would be the next mainline vessel for the main survival series. This is I actually forgot its name. I believe it's called Enduring Destiny, I believe is the name of this ship. I think that's right. Yep, Enduring Destiny. This is going to be the home base ship for our survival playthrough. The main one that we've been playing on the channel, The Call of the Void. This is the next step in that, and it is a full base. This is a straight up base, so I can actuate this right here. Turns off the grab barrier, closes that, but the elevator is still separated from the main body. We have our main spawning bay here. The logic is all right here on the server rack right here. And I have 3 layers to the server rack. We can get on the elevator and go into the main body, which is now my new living space. We have the furnace right here, tucked in between here. Got the furnace right there, the life support right there. Got an assembler on each side, all hooked up. If you go to the little corner points, I have, oh, I actually don't know where my access point I put for the storage units. It should be in the corners, but I might have actually got rid of the access point. I need to move it. But yeah, the storage units are back there too. I can still access the storage units just fine by just going inside here, and then I can just go to any of my storage units from this menu. But we have our main little living space here. I put a big screen. We have the bomb on the ground, which was an idea from one of the other viewers. And then we have the TV here with the couch. I got the beds, kind of double stacked beds here. And then this door just automatically opens when I walk up to it, bringing us to the main bridge. So we have a nice little seating area up here in the bridge, kind of hang out. Or you can come up here to the hollow map, and you can see the galactic core in this map. For anybody that might be new here and not familiar with Starship EVO, you can go to every single place in here that you see. Everywhere. Which I love that about Starship EVO. It's like No Man's Sky in that scale. But then we have the 3 different seats, the main captain's chair, and then everything is all set up. I have a little docking stick right here, the docking controller, and then any of the co-pilots can control the ship from the sides. And then this is our main view of the cockpit. Got a little aiming reticle on here. This thing is weaponized. There's a lot of weapons on this. There's turrets on it. There's turrets that pop out. There's giant artillery cannons, Gatling machine guns, the mining beams, the collector. This is a big one-all mobile base, basically. That's why I say this is the replacement vehicle for the survival playthrough for Call of the Void. This is the next step. So you get a little sneak peek at that for any Call of the Void viewers. And this is really it for the vessels I currently have. And then of course we got the hover racer we're currently working on. But that is pretty much all that's around. That other box that's sitting on the ground is some random player. As you can see, I do have Zara set up here. But yeah, this thing is just a random thing a player spawned. And since they left before I left, it just kind of despawned. They made a nice little... This is actually kind of cool for a box ship. This is actually kind of chill. Nice little... Looks like a little taxi. But yeah, there's all the ships that are currently in the lineup here. There's a lot of stuff. Is it more fine control? The docking arm? The docking control? So what I did, the actual joystick there is just for looks. But right here is a docking alignment indicator, and this actually functions in game. So I would still be docking, aligning with this, and the game actually docks for you. So it would use this alignment indicator. You can still see the indicator, and it's more for visual effect, like, because in a real spaceship, a lot of times, like in like space shuttle or something, the docking joystick is like kind of like its own thing. I mean, it's, you don't control it from the main ship's controls. So I just thought it made sense for that kind of thing. And then our landing gear. Landing gear. Landing gear. Got triple landing gear in the back. And then the front just has a little support leg so the dang thing doesn't tip forward. Because as you can see, the 3 gear are pretty far back. And then we have quite a few vertical engines right here, all skinned out. We have a folding solar array right here. Some expellers to shoot out any rocks we collect up with the miner. We have our main battery bank on each side behind those doors. And then the main engines, along with the main turret, which is damaged apparently because part of the turret's gone right now. Oh yeah, it's definitely damaged, I see that. But there's the main engine bay. Yeah, but that is the setup. And then you have your warp core with the void pearls. And I did a nice little aesthetic paint design. And in here are the main beam laser turrets connected, or have a little force field that help protect them. There's a little sky window to give them just some nice natural light through the roof there. Yeah, I really like that. This is a nice, good mobile base. This would be a great chunky ship for our survival playthrough, and it goes along with the wolf spider's paint job. Appreciate it. Yeah, it's meant to match the wolf spider. That's one of the main reasons I went the gray, orange, and white with the black. It has a matching color scheme with it. But that is pretty much it for the ship tour. There isn't really anything else over there. Everything else I've maybe despawned if there was anything around. I need to get a scrappy hull block again, actually. I think got rid of it. Alright. Now I need to turn on my jetpack again. Yeah, no problem. Usually I have the lobby open for multiplayer and you guys can just join up and work on your own ship designs in here. Because as long as I have the lobby going, you can just save your ships and keep working on them in your own lobby after I close up the server for the night. It's not like it would be stuck here necessarily. But that's usually what I've been doing most nights. I don't have the multiplayer lobby open right now, but there's a good portion of times I've been playing the game recently, I have had it open. You would just find me under Snicer007 if I do open the multiplayer lobby at any time. You'll see me by my Steam name. That's how you'll see any players, is by their Steam name. Alright, so this is that intake. Or spoiler, whatever this ends up being. Whatever it needs to be, it's gonna have to be closed. So for now, let's just go ahead and end this off. Just get a flat edge, and then we can just kind of delete the flat edge if we don't want it. Okay, I was thinking about doing some engine mounting here. We'll see. I do like the idea of possibly making this little spot a spoiler. But, I don't know. I think spoiler would make more sense than intake, because it's so far back. Am I on the beta? Yeah, I'm on experimental, but I think experimental and default players can still play together, like multiplayer. Like if I don't know how that works exactly, maybe not, but I always keep it on experimental because I always want the latest features. I'm the guinea pig. I like being a guinea pig for this game. Yeah, I keep it on experimental pretty much at all times. I always like getting the newest stuff right when it comes out. We will go ahead and taper this out right here. Oh, I actually have the space here, which is perfect. Ooh, yeah, we wouldn't want to do that because that would not match up. Ooh, I have a little bit of an idea. So let's purposely get kind of just some aerodynamic fins going on here. And then maybe bring this all the way to this point. Go like that. close off the edge. So keep the edge straight lined. And in turn, to make it make more sense, simply use a square pyramid here. Oh. Oh. That wouldn't work out because of that line right there. Yeah, let's just keep it how we had it before, because that should be okay. So go like that. And I like that. So you use experimental Ozo. Nice. So what I might be able to do, we'll go ahead and end off this edge right. We'll just make this kind of a small opening right there. We'll add maybe a triple wedge just to get that to meet in there. Nah, that would look weird. About like that. Close these off. All right, that works. Oh, wrong way. The square pyramids could be a lot more useful than you might give them credit for. Yeah, that's perfect. All right. And then right here, probably just gonna go with maybe look at 2 for a wedge. I don't know. Let's just not do anything right there. We'll leave that open. I'd still like to change this, but what would I want to do? Now there might be a way that I could make this work. We are just going to basically take this to its limits and see what I end up with. So that was kind of one way to make it sort of work. It still just does not meet with that line, but you know what? That is not that bad. That looks better already than it did. Oh god, I hear a bunch of emergency vehicles. Oh god. Alright, so let's get an inverse right there. And then this would all be flat block. Yeah, and it would go all the way over to the end of the wing. Okay. So if we're doing that, what I should probably be doing right here, let's go ahead and combine that in. Oh wait, that wouldn't look right. Yeah, so this would stay flat right here. Oh god. Okay, let me try to rework this out. Oh, I know what I need to do here. This needs to wedge out all the way to this point. I'm gonna purposely end this early. Oh wait, I'm on the wrong mounting point. Wait, that should be okay. Oh no, I understand. So let's go ahead and do it this way. Oh wait, no, that wouldn't match. So let's purposely, because I do want to keep that top line. So instead, oh, we wouldn't do that, we'd do a wedge. Just kind of add a separation line right here. This is kind of break up the body a little bit. And then I can go into an inverse right here to fix it all up. And that would leave me with this option. So I can go with another wedge, work it to that edge, give it a pyramid. Yeah, okay, you need to get filled in. Almost have brought it back. Close in the wing. We have a lot of nice open space here. This will be good for the engine bay. So let's go ahead and define our point. I think I could actually go ahead and get this right in. Oh wait, we need a flat line right here. Then we start with the inverse. Is that a, yeah, that's a twofer. Oh, wrong. Go like this. Sometimes how I figure out if it's on the right block line is I use the outline of that little box. Ooh. There we go. Nice clean connection. Inching to get back to work on your ship now. Nice. Always glad to hear that you're inspired. I think I'm gonna put an engine line up here. So you see how this slotted up here? I think this would be a perfect prime real estate location for an engine line. That would look really cool. Just have like a row of engines going long ways in there. Just tiny ones. They don't even need to be humongous. We could actually have like a blocking back line right here to stop you from going any further forward with those. We could separate the top and the bottom engine bay too. The bottom engine bay can be down here. And then you have this whole top line where this row could be in. So if I have thrusters, for example, if I wanted, I could either go square thrusters, but I want to get as much oomph as I can out of the system. So I think we're going to use the smallest thruster, but just scale it by making it long. And it should perfectly fit inside of our little holes here. And then probably don't go all the way across. We'll leave a little opening, or not opening, but we'll square it off right here. Just to give a little bit of separation. You could maybe do 2 lines of that. There. Oh, that looks sweet. Glad to hear it. Thank you. Well, that's part of the reason why I've been doing streaming this challenge, because this is in the end, what you're seeing right now is a self-imposed challenge. Me trying to make this hover racer that's compact. I always had a goal in my mind that I want to make this thing extremely fast, lightweight, and compact. And it's been quite the task trying to achieve that. This is just a self-imposed challenge. There's absolutely no need for me to be making this vessel right now. It's just because, well, I want to challenge myself. Let's end that right there so we can reverse the point. We'll go 2 this way. And you can kind of see my angle switches right here. So I need to now switch the inverse to a different direction to be able to compensate. So we do like the 2 there and then the 2 there to switch the angle. Or actually it's 3 on this side. But that's fine. And then that will allow us to turn the angle back around, and then I can get to that back line there. And the engine line can get separated out again right here. So right there where we had that wedge line get put in, that can be a separate. So if I wanted to possibly get a light cruise in here or anything like that, I could do that. Or I could put giant hover platforms under here. Could be another possibility. Definitely a few ways I could take this. Nature of the sandbox. Yeah, true. It is nice how unlimiting this game is. There isn't really a whole lot of hard limits that are placed on you when it comes to aesthetics. Especially since you can mix all the grids around, unlike a certain other game. Space Engineers! But I mean, I like Space Engineers a lot. It's a good game, and it has a much better, more fleshed out survival loop than this game. But I mean, I think that Suna is just got to get this game to the perfect point where he wants it before he'll be at that same level. I mean, you gotta think there's a humongous dev team that works on the Space Engineers games compared to good old Suna all by himself. One dev. Always got to remind you, there's been only one dev ever working on this game. He's never hired help at all in like any capacity, not even to do like a single image. Just him, and that's it. This whole time since this game was first created, he has never brought on any help. Let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and save this right here. I'm about to take a proper little smoke break real quick, chat, because I genuinely do want to take a moment where I don't have to like step away to use the restroom. Just step away to actually breathe for a moment and stand up. Yeah, for sure. A very on. Yeah, I've heard of that game too. That is a really cool game. I've always wanted to play that game, but I of course missed the ship when it comes to that game, and it ended up getting like I think abandoned, and things went kind of downhill with Avarion. So Avorion, I don't even know how to pronounce it, but I never tried it out yet. Maybe someday if it's on Giga sale and it's still playable, I'll play it, try it out. If it's actually any good. But I think Starship EVO has some like the ultimate shipbuilding out of any of the games I've found. All right. Be right back, chat. Proper little smoke break. I'll be gone for probably like 5 minutes, and then we'll get grinding on the actual engine bay in the back. I'll probably turn up the music just a touch. It's just my lo-fi set, but at least I don't get copyright striked for playing lo-fi. Thank God. BRB, chat. This is a good time for you guys to get up, go stretch, go get a drink, go use the restroom, whatever you gotta do. I know you probably got your phone by you anyway, but this is a good time for you to do it. BRB. Alright, guys, I am back. Let's see what you guys been talking about. Oh, yeah. He's been kind of talking about some random things, and then Vintage Story. Yeah, Vintage Story is really good. It's like a perfected version of like a more story-based Minecraft, I guess. All right. Back into it. So I want to go ahead and try to make an engine bay here, but we also have a pretty big space here where I am. So I'm going to make this come down a little bit, and then we'll kind of go from there. Where's my scrappy hole? There it is. We'll go ahead and do a reverse sweep inverse into this with a wedge line in the front. And I'm probably just going to go down to this layer here. We'll take that. And then on this layer, I'm just going to close it off. Oh God. Let's just start from the middle there. Oh, I sent it over too far. Easier way that way. Go there. Oh, get that. Oh. Boom. And then this back wall, I should probably just clean it all the way to this point. That would be the easiest to line up with. And we just need to close in this. The top point could probably just stay flat, honestly. And then we have a spot in there that I could probably mount some solar panels in here. Get some more power generation going, and we'll get a couple stacks of solar panels. Oh, I actually could have made this a wider one. Let's do that. There we go. And we'll start this one from this side. There we go. And then to get a single layer, because if you're not familiar with solar panels in this game, they do work through the body. They don't need to be visible to sunlight for them to work. So let me see. Power generated 1000. We're only taking 3%, but I haven't put the engines in. Let me put some really OP engines in here and then see what kind of power draw we're going to get from extremely intense engines. I'm talking real big. Oh, I can almost fit it right out. Well, there's some huge engines. Let's see how much power that draws. Only 36% of the system. Oh, our heat is bad though. Look, 100%, 114% heat. Too much heat. It's too hot. It's too hot. That's what I mean about heat and thrusters. If your heat's over 100%, you can't fly the vehicle. You can't use it. So those engines are too intense. But that gives us... Oh, I don't have the actual... I don't have the forward... no joystick yet, so it doesn't give me... Let me get a forward calculation real quick. All you need to do is just hook up a joystick to the spaceship computer one time. And after you've defined that front, then you never have to define that again. And every time you look at the spaceship computer, you should see the correct direction. So now, 251 meters per second. pretty good. Oh yeah. So let me see. But as you can see, that system is way too hot. You gotta balance it out more. But that was just experimenting to see. I actually am not making the engines quite like that. I'm actually going to do them. You know what? We're gonna bring them in just a little bit. Let me do the center one first, because the center one is going to be a huge engine. It's on the center point, I believe. Okay. Oh, almost. Right there. Okay. And then these other ones probably do like that. And then stagger them a little bit. Let's see what this looks like on the heat. 212, and we are at a 71% heat. See, that's way better, and we're not even losing that much speed. I only lost like 20 meters per second. Not even bad. So that is a good baseline. We can keep that for our main engine thrust for now. Maybe I could expand upon it if I end up having room. So what I'll do, separate these out. Do something like this. Oh, I actually wouldn't be able to fit in that other block line. So what I could do, just give a square pyramid edge to the sides there, and just use a normal block line to seal off these edges, kind of go from there. Oh. Just like that should be good. And then probably get some like little wedges in here. Oh yeah, they fit pretty nicely. Oh, gotta go not so far over, maybe like that. Yeah. There we go. Is there actually a way to help with heat? I think in creative there might be, but not in survival. Because there's this thing right here. Oh no, that's overheat damage. Never mind. So those are just weapon add-ons. No, I don't think there's anything that you can actually put on like an upgrade or anything that can make it where heat is lower. You just gotta really manage it out. That's kind of like the hard limits of the game, I guess. You gotta balance the heat and the size, the weight, if you really want to make something super fast. That's part of the reason why this challenge I've been taking on is so challenging in the first place. So this top edge, unlike the bottom edge, I could actually bring it further more. But I could close off this. If I did so, probably go with a reverse square. So maybe starting right there. And I mean, that would allow me to do kind of the same thing right here. Kind of probably just leave that lip there, honestly. Now what would it look like if I had a reverse pyramid right here? Nah, that would be weird because that would stick out. Probably not that. But that looks pretty cool. I could get another square line back behind here too. None of this would line up with the edges though. Now I could readjust some of this line. For example, putting an inverse right here would kind of sort part of the issue. Or no, like a wedge. Go like that. The inverse, oh, so wait, let's match up to this wedge then. We'll make this a little bit less out. That'll work. So this is the thing to note about life support. So two things. The life support itself actually has its own oxygen storage built into it. So it's going to use those oxygen reserves first before anything else. You'll see here tank level, 100% pressurization. It doesn't really show anything about like how much oxygen is in there, but you get to start with some oxygen. And as you can see, this is seeming to be pressurized. Every time you click on it with the link tool, you can kind of see it going through its process. Rising, leaking, but where? That's a false negative. There isn't actually a leak. It's doing a false negative, rip. Alright. Anyway, but you have that. And then the tank itself, when you interact with it, it has its option, provide life support. You got to make sure that you tick that. So any of the tanks, pull out a tank here and look at it. You got to provide oxygen to life support. So that means that the oxygen that the tank has will only be used for O2, or will get used for O2. And you do not need to connect it to any lines, no. For oxygen, it can be just on your vessel in a tank, and then you have this setting on, and then it will just pull the oxygen. For hydrogen, you need to have lines filled up. Like the lines actually need to be connected to the vessel. So that's the important difference there. It's probably because it was still using the oxygen inside of the actual life support unit. It probably still had some. It might actually refill itself when you're planet side. I have no clue because it feels like it refills itself when you're on planets. There might be some kind of thing that's sucking in air. Alright, get a couple of the block pyramids here to end this off. That looks nice. I feel like maybe I should knock out... no, it looks really cool from this side. So we'll just go ahead and go with it. Make this kind of a double fin design here. Oh god. Here, let's start it from the other edge. Start it from over there. There we go. Cool. That will work. Alright. We got a pretty good look going on here. I think we're about ready for a little bit of paint, guys. I'd like to do some paint and decals. To really start getting an idea. We also need to put hover pods in this thing. Let me get a little hover pods in, and then we can do a little bit of a test ride. Let me also get some... We're just going to get some temporary thruster placement going on for our side thrusters. We'll get like 3 right there. This is just temporary. I'm not actually putting these here permanently. We're just doing it so we can do a little test. And I think really, let me check my lateral actually, because I need to have enough lateral to be able to turn, or else our hovercraft is going to be very wild and squirrely. So let me see. Yeah, so let's make these actually pretty effective. We're going to go ahead and scale them up, stretch them out. Probably not that much. Like that. Alright, now that should be more than enough. Excuse me, sorry. Let's see. That should be alright, yeah. So we'll use that for agility rating, and then let's get temporary hover pods on. So weight means we're gonna have to have way more hover pod in the back. I probably could get some really big ones on here on the back, just like that for now. And there's not really an easy front mounting point for now, so let's just do little smaller ones in the front. This is just temporary placement. I think you have just one there. I don't really need to worry about any more. You could have like a little nose one. Little mini nose one. And then maybe get 2 of them going on the back here. You know what? Could make them probably like those. Like that. It looks really cool actually, even though the hover pods are definitely not in their, like having the big hover pods there, the big hover pods actually look really wicked. Even though they are not our permanent positions, this looks really cool with some thrusters added on. Alright, so let's get some temporary joysticks in here. Probably have the joysticks honestly in the main spot that they're going to be finally. And we're going to do that cool little pipe trick I learned on the joysticks, because I think it looks cool doing that. We're just going to have them kind of pop out from the sides here. And then, probably not that. We want to go here, here, and then you get a half block. Make the half tile the thin one, and then just get little platforms there. And then just get a joystick on each side. Boom. Those might be a little bit too close, but it's fine for temporary testing. And then this joystick goes onto the hover computer. And then the right joystick goes to the spaceship computer. So then we can control both modes. Boom. And that is all there is to it. We should be able to pilot this thing now. Let me see how bad I am sitting. Oh yeah, the joysticks are way too close to me. I need to push them up. Probably just 1 block. It's probably perfect. 1 block forward. Alright. Let us see how she floats. There's no way this is going to go horribly wrong. Alright guys, we're not going to die in a horrible hovercraft wreck, are we? Oh yeah, there's not enough power it looks like. I am losing power consistently right now. Oof, we need more solar panel. Alright, more solar panel. I really want to, I'm curious to see what's going to happen when we do this, guys. Let me get just some wacky solar panels on this. We'll just put them on the back of the fin. Where could I mount them? There's not really a good spot other than like mounting them to the tips here. Easy replacement. You can easily just put new bits on there. So we'll go just add some little wacky solar panels for now. These will also just be temporary for now, because I am going to put more solar panels in the vessel, but I'm actually going to think about it. Ooh, I don't like that that's unaligned. Let's just do that. Very wacky, but that should be enough power. Oh, the underbelly. Oh, wow. Perfect idea. Wow. The belly. Get in my belly. All right. So let's just go ahead and just put a little mounting block right here. And then we can just put some solar panels across the bottom real quick. Right about like that. Perfect. That should be more than enough. Nice. Nice little temporary fix. All right. Now she should be able to sustain herself. Let's hopefully not die. Here we go. Well, acceleration isn't mad lad or anything, but we are losing a little bit of power. Whoa! We're flying. Hey, we're not touching the ground though. Meow. Oh, oh hey, good control. It's actually not hitting the ground. Alright, we have some pretty good speeds right now. Good control, good speed. She's floating pretty nice. Oh god! Oh! Little accident. We're fine. Alright, so let me modify some hover computer settings. Let's make it hover a little bit lower to the ground. I think we can get more speed that way. And then change the angle a little bit. So I want it to tip the nose up more. So let's put a little temporary goofy giant nose one. Great. Like I say, these are not the final positions of these thruster pods. I will reiterate that. Because they look very goofy. They're not it. I'll tell you that. But you can go in the hover computer here and you can change everything here. The ride height, we can make it sit a lot lower. I can change the dampening, anti-pitch strength, probably lower that a little bit. You can have auto roll when turning, which it could do just a little bit maybe. You can turn off some of this assist to make it steer a little bit more like a real hovercraft. So let's turn that down a little bit and see what it does. There's actually some nice little options, and there's even descriptions of what the option does. So that's cool. But you can just play around with that. You can really make hovercrafts do some wacky stuff. Depending on your ride angle and ride height, all that stuff will change the speed, your acceleration. Now I think we're going to accelerate more because my ride height is lower. We're already up to like 50 meters per second. Let's see if we hit the ground. Whoa! Okay, so that ride height is still not too low. So the acceleration has a little bit left to be desired. But let's just keep accelerating. Oh, listen to her purr. Oh boy, now we're starting to get quick. Here we go. Whoa. Oh, we hit the ground. We're flying. We're flying, Cap. Oof, we didn't actually hit the ground there. Let me get downhill. Let's go in the water, guys, because that's really what hovercrafts are meant to do if you really want to get fast with them, is put them on the water. Let's go. Hold the speed. Hold the speed. Zoom. Now we can get speed. Straight away. I have an antenna. Alright, here we go. 100. We're starting to accelerate now. If I could get it closer to the water. 115. She's going. 120. Woo! She's cooking. 134. I need more acceleration than this. I need more engine power. 140. Alright, this is a good baseline test. Our power is staying sustained too. 150. Still going. Alright, so let me adjust my ride height for the way back and see if we accelerate even faster. Alright, hit the brakes. I swear, my character does not smoke weed, guys. That bong is nothing. Alright, so I'm gonna lower the ride height even lower. We're gonna go like 1.6. I'm gonna lower the repulsor. Actually, I'm gonna raise the repulsor stiffness to give us a little bit more bounce. Less anti-pitch dampening. A little bit less roll dampening. Keep the auto roll a little higher. Turn the assist down even lower. Alright. Now let's see how she rides. And of course, hover pod position going along with your center of mass all matters. It will change the tilt of the hovercraft. And depending on your tilt, you can get a lot faster if you have a different tilt or a different ride height. Alright, here we go. Let's see if we go even faster this time. We're just gonna be just going right back across the water. We're already at 85. Pretty good. I love the sound of the engine as it's accelerating. You can actually hear it going. It's so cool. Oh man, we're already at 110. Lower ride height seems to be making it accelerate faster. 120. Now can I keep it accelerating on turn? Ooh, it's accelerating on the turn. Nice. 140. So yeah, we're still sitting pretty dang fast. She's about to hit 150. Pretty nice. Pretty nice speeds. I'll tell you one thing, this is stable, that's for sure. Man, that stop. Yeah, she's stable. Alright, let's try out the spaceship computer to get back home. Spaceship mode! Oh, we have way better speed in spaceship mode. I definitely gotta tune the hover computer. We're already at 130 meters per second. We're cooking. We're literally already at 150. Yeah, the hovercraft definitely is gonna need some tuning. Small light cruise and tap it. That's cheating in a hover race though, sadly. Light cruise engines usually aren't allowed at all in a hover race. I gotta engineer it in a way that's going to be legal in races. We can't have illegal hardware on our ship. That's why there's no light cruise in here to also save weight. It's all about optimizing your mass, heat, and thrust values, and that's how you get everything balanced out. You gotta remember also our hover pods come with a weight too. So the hover pods are also adding on to that weight value. Oh, I don't have a construction anchor on here, guys. So this thing won't float. Uh-oh. We gotta put an anchor on it, guys. So for any of those new players might be hanging out, you get the construction anchor after you pilot it for the first time, because your vessel will not float anymore after that. Rule of thumb though, on a hovercraft, do not have the construction anchor on when you're piloting it, or else it will not function properly. Your construction anchor will kind of cancel the hovercraft out. Alright, so we can lift this back up. Probably want to bring that closer to the build zone, yeah? Meow. Let's see a size comparison compared to my chunky boy. Meow. Pretty good. Nice little fighter. This has a great size to it. I think I got the sizing down perfect finally. Took a while, but I finally made a compact, sweet looking design. It's crazy to think this took 14 tries to finally get the body I wanted. But on the 14th try, I did it. So I'm happy. The one hover pod that I'm really excited for, I really like these giant back pods, and I think I am going to try to make a giant back pod system when I get the permanent hover pod points in. But that was a great test run, guys, and I really liked how that functioned. Also, the solar panels, I'm going to probably make a housing and actually do an underbelly solar panel setup. And I'll probably make the solar panels, make it look maybe heat tiles, disguise them, make them look like heat tiles. Yeah, it's good. Currently, this is pretty much almost our final dimensions, other than I'm going to be putting, there's more fins that are going to go on this. I'm going to get yaw fins, like little like angled tail fins, and then there's probably going to be little fins that come out here. There's going to be more design elements like that. And then of course I got to paint it, put all the decals. It's going to look pretty elevated when I do. But this is a great point. It is 10 meters long, it is 10 meters wide, and it is 2 meters tall. It is very, like, the depth of this vessel is insanely short, which is awesome. I got the depth so low, and then it's exactly 10 meters both directions the other way. Yeah, canards. Yeah, so I'll be adding canards to it, and the decals and paint. If you couldn't tell though, that little test is probably going to be where I'm going to wrap it up for the night here. I'm going to be likely working on this some more offline, but it's likely just going to be starting to work on paintwork, decals, things that are not as exciting as building the body for you guys to see, you know? Maybe at some point we'll do a painting and decal stream, but those are a little bit more tedious tasks that take a lot more trial and error. So I will be doing a little bit of that work, and I will see you guys tomorrow morning. I don't work till 2 p.m. tomorrow morning, so likely when I wake up, I'm going to be live probably around 9 or 10 a.m. Eastern time, and we'll stream for a few more hours working on this, and I should have it painted up and stuff when you see it tomorrow. We'll see what it looks like when you see it tomorrow. It might look way more wicked. So look forward to that. And if I don't stream tomorrow morning, it would be tomorrow night, because I don't have to work the day after tomorrow. So we have plenty of time to play after that. But I really am happy how this turned out. I appreciate you guys hanging out for this stream. We built this thing start to finish on this stream. So this only took about 3 hours to make this ship, what we have right now. It really shows you how far I've came in this game. It used to be like, I don't think it would take a lot longer than 3 hours for me to shape out something on this level. But I am very happy with how this has turned out. And it all started with the logic box. I literally did the logic box as the very first thing we built. If you guys run back the VOD, which will be on the channel, you guys can see this whole thing get built start to finish. Might give you some inspiration for your own cool craft. And if you go on the workshop and look up the racing track, TAC has made a really cool Wipeout style racing track you can put together really easily. And in multiplayer, we could host races and literally do hover races against each other with the different crafts we make. So like, that's part of the reason I'm doing this, is to kind of inspire hover racing, because it's a really cool potential multiplayer thing in this game. And I think that could bring some popularity, you know? But anyway, have a good night. Enough yammering on from me. My name is Space, your intergalactic guide to Starship EVO. And it's been good chilling, guys. Until next time, bye. Yeah, go check out those modular tracks. Make your own hover racer, guys. I want to race you. Bye.